G'day folks, it's the Motorrad Rider here again, and today I'm going to take you through the unbagging and subsequent install of the Altrider dual lens headlight guard for the BMW R1200GS. I just point in the direction of it sitting on my bench at the moment. So that's pretty much what you get. And we're going to do the unbagging. So what I'm going to do is put the camera on a tripod and we'll be straight back. Okay, eyes down. And what you're seeing there is essentially the back of the stainless guard, because the reason I got this is the fact that there are two lenses. You've got the stainless steel guard, which is in black in this side, and you've got the Lexan plastic guard on this side. Now, apparently these aren't street legal, and the other thing that I don't particularly like about them is that when you've got the headlight on at night, you've got this grid pattern effect through your light pattern, through your light beam. And I don't particularly like that. So the idea is that this just pops off, and I can change the stainless steel guard for the Lexan one and vice versa. So if I'm during the day and I don't want this one to get stone chipped or marked or anything like that, then I'll use this, this stainless steel one. And then when it comes to dusk and the night is coming on, then I'll pop this one off and put that one on. So it's fairly straightforward. So what we get here is the stainless steel lens, as I said. There are the fitting pieces there. That's the four little stainless steel screws, and they are Allen screws. I'll check the size of those. These screw onto this plate, obviously, onto the lens. The Lexan one has already got its studs already mounted, and I'll just pull this out of this plastic. Now these are the mounting screws. So you've got the stainless steel washers, rubbers here. They're the brackets that are enclosed in there. We'll check those out when we do the actual install itself. I'm just going to open that up a little bit more. Set of instructions, and there's the Lexan guard, complete with its mounts already in place. Okay, they've already done that for us. So not much to the unbagging. As I say, you'll see the brackets when we do the install, which I'm going to get ready to do now. Those washers there, shouldered washers, you'll see where they go. So we'll go right through it, and we'll get you alongside. And yeah, we'll get it done, get into it, and hopefully it'll go quite well, quite easily, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. So let's push on to the install. Now, we will be undoing some screws. They're all going to be T25s, and you will be undoing that one, that one. Now underneath those two you may have some clear plastic washers. Do not lose them, apparently. Vitally important for part of the install. Well, important for the install. Okay, now there's something else you need to be aware of. It's very difficult to see. I'll see if I can get my light in there. Right in that gap there, it's very hard to see. I'm just trying to shine the light in there. There's a hexagonal shaped hole. There's one either side, so we've got one there and one there. Okay, so we've got to utilise those. So needless to say, with the Adventure, you've got plastic in the way. So to loosen that plastic, you've got to actually undo 6 screws in total. So we've actually got to go under here, and I'll show you the 6 screws. You've got one there, 2 there, and the same on the other side. Okay, all T25s. Basically what we're going to be doing is removing the beak. So we're going to be removing the beak there, and the screws from the outside, that screw is that one there. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of flex to push this part of the fender back, okay, because that's, as you can see, that's the part that encroaches on that hexagonal hole. So without further ado, I'm going to get into unscrewing those or loosening those screws off. Don't mix them up, because I'll show you something about those screws in a sec too. So I'm just going to put the camera back on the tripod, be straight back with you. Okay, now we're back on the tripod, and I just thought I'd show you this. It's quite important. These are the brackets that actually mount the lenses, the guards. Now what we've also got to do is put these rubbers into these holes. There's 4 rubbers, 4 holes. Basically a case of push in, work around, done. Okay, so just do that with all 4. It's easier doing it now than with these frames on the bike, I think. So I would suggest you doing that. So I'll do the other 3 and we'll continue. Okay, now we'll carry on and undo the screws that are required. So we're going to undo this one. Now I'm going to show you this too, because it is quite important that you don't get the screws mixed up, because this one has got a fairly decent shoulder on it. Okay, so don't get that mixed up. That's the only one that will fit in here. Alright, so make sure you don't lose it. And then under the beak, and just undo this, and you should be able to see the difference. Far shorter shoulder on that one, and the ones under the beak are exactly the same. So I'll just get this other one. It's tucked up under here. Okay, we'll just do the other 2 on this side, because I'd like to get the beak off. What we'll actually do is just drop the beak off, and you'll see how easily it comes off. That's it. So that then gives us springability in here. Okay, gives you that little bit of flex to get to that hexagonal hole. Alright, so the last screw that we've got to undo is the one up the top here. So we undo that, and there we have it, and there's the little plastic shim. Okay, so don't lose the plastic. So there we go. Next thing we've got to do is get the bracket. We've got to, actually, what we've got to do is drop the shouldered washer into that hexagonal hole, and that could be the interesting bit. So we'll get to that in a sec. Hopefully you can see that hexagonal hole. Just get the light in there. And what we've actually got to do is slide this shouldered washer into there. Okay, it's a little fiddly, but that's it. Okay, that's all we've got to do. So I think what we might do is actually mount the bracket while that's a little loose. I'll actually mount the bracket on this side. It looks like it's going to be a bit easier. So I'll just go and grab the bracket and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we're going to install the bracket for the left hand side. Just be careful when you're installing that you don't scratch against the light bezel. It's not an overly snug fit, but you just got to be careful. Okay, so I'm just wriggling that in. And now this little plastic shim here will then go underneath here and over the top, so it sits, you can probably see it, so it just sits underneath the washer there, underneath the head of the Torx that mounts here. Okay, so we'll just get that to okay, it's all popped into place. Shouldn't be too bad. Now, the other screw that we've got to put in here, it's the one thing that I'm probably not overly happy about with the kit. It goes against convention, and it's we're actually using an M5 Allen screw. So that's what's going to be going in underneath. So that's probably my only gripe, is that I would have preferred this to have been a T25 to match everything else. Manufacturers seem reluctant to use Torx for some reason. Perhaps they're more expensive, I don't know. But anyway, this one goes up from underneath. I think we have a bite. By Jove, I think he's got it. Just check that with the light. Now we're not going to tighten this up because we've got to get everything aligned. He has got it. Okay, just leave that sitting loose for the time being. And you saw what happened this side, so it's going to be a carbon copy of the on the other side, so I'll do that and we'll get straight back to the install, putting it all back together. So just let me do the other side, and yeah, we'll be right back. Okay folks, well we've finally got it installed. It took a bit longer than I'd hoped, to be honest. This right hand side proved to be a little problematic. Where the shouldered washer goes into the hexagonal hole in the frame, that was proving a little stubborn. I also found out a couple of things which may be of interest to you. The M5 stainless Allen screws that go up through that shouldered washer in the hex shaped hole in the frame of the bike. I found those to be too long, so I ended up cutting those off, probably by about 5mm, because I found that when they were screwed up fully, they were interfering up under here. It was pushing this piece of plastic out and distorting it slightly. So they had to be trimmed. Look, it's not major, but it's just enough to note. As I say, I cut 5mm off those Allen bolts. The other little gripe that I've got is that with this stainless steel guard, you saw in the unbagging that there's a bag of T25 stainless screws, and I think they're about 6mm long. They're included along with these little things here. Okay, you can probably see them. Okay, they're included, but what's not included are the washers to go under the heads of the screws. Now, if you don't put washers on, you're going to destroy this finish that's on the front of the guard. Now, as I say, I know it sounds a little petty, but I paid $309 plus postage for this set. That's Australian dollars. So it was not cheap. It's American made, and to be perfectly honest, I would have expected to have the washers in, and I would have expected to have the bolts at the right length. You shouldn't have to do any modifications, I think, for that sort of money. That's my opinion. Yep. Look, I'm entitled to it. Other people might disagree. Just sort of say, hey, look, it's part of the install process. Well, okay, so be it. But as I say, I think for that sort of money, it should be just a bolt-on, you know, without having to do any modifications or supplying my own hardware. But anyway, it's on. I haven't tried the Lexan shield or lens at the moment. I just thought I'd have this one on because that's what I'm going to be running with most of the time. I'm going to have the Lexan one in the panniers so that I can just switch it over at night when I need to. But yeah, anyway, it's on. It's taken longer than I would have hoped. All I can say to you is, if you're going to buy, and the other thing that is not included too, is in the other kits there's a piece of plastic which it's like a plastic film that goes over this wind deflector to stop reflections back up into the cockpit. Not included in the $309 kit for whatever reason, I don't know. So I'm going to see how it goes at night. If I get too much reflection, then I'm going to speak to the people that did the paintwork protection on the bike, Aussie Shield, and see if they can do a bit of a film on that, a sort of a matte black film on that wind deflector for me. But we'll see how we go, and I'll report back after I've ridden it at night and seen how we go. So, okay guys, well, I hope that's been of some assistance to you. Probably not the most informative of the install videos, but hopefully you've gotten something out of it. And yeah, look, I guess that the knocks that I'm putting on this kit are very minor. It's a good quality kit, I'd have to say. It's all stainless steel fittings. The steel, that grid that you're looking at now is stainless steel with a I think it's a powder coating of some sort on there. It's very good quality. The Lexan, the other Lexan lens is of really good quality too. So anyway, would I buy it again? Yes, I would. But keep in mind those caveats. Okay? If you found it useful, guys, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. It'd be most useful. And I will say tatty bye until next time on the next install video. So this is the Motorrad Rider at the Motorrad Rider base, signing out.